I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon, the stretchiest experiment on Earth. And today I am drinking out of my unfortunately chipped, but nonetheless awesome Green and Faceless on the Couch mug. That's the name of our show. It's a podcast about movies and TV. And if you're interested in having a mug, it is a part of our loyalty rewards on patreon.com/greenfaces. We also got t-shirts as well in that loyalty reward program. So you guys should check that out. There's also some other great benefits like the potato pick that we do once a month. And also an exclusive show just for you guys on the Patreon. Bangers and Hash.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah, baby!
I did the whole
thing. And it's
a
game show now.
It's a game show now, yeah. And we're gonna make a little change to the schedule because we're still having a hard time maintaining our jobs and doing this part time and working on other projects that we really want to work on.
Yeah. We busy. So we're going to change to more of a. We're going to focus more on the playlists and still do the potato pick. Yeah, just like the Indy Jones playlist. Still do the potato pick and still do one or two. At least one.
Thursday episode depending on the month. And then, we'll take that last week of each month off. And that's when Bangers and Hash usually comes out as well.
Indeed.
So
you better get hurrying if you want to catch June's Banger and Hash. It's coming up.
That's true. It sure is. Or July's. I don't know which one.
You'll hear me talk such exciting films as Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Shit.
And The Flash. I should be talking The Flash as well. That's coming up. So yeah, if you want to hear about those exciting movies.
Wow.
Patreon.com/greenandfaceless.
Okay. So we're here for the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull today.
Yes.
Yeah.
The movie that should have been written by Frank Darabont, but for some reason was written by David Koepp. So make of that what you will. David Koepp's good. I'm not knocking David Koepp. He's one of the most successful screenwriters in history. But still.
Honestly,
I would have been very interested in an alien story by Frank Darabont. The fucking guy who did Shawshank.
Okay. Now I have reference.
I think.
Being a writer myself, it is probably not a great thing to admit, but I do not really know writers' names unless they're really... wrote some of my favorite movies,
Yeah, he did Shawshank and
that's a really good one.
The Green Mile as well. I remember Shawshank, but I did not remember The Green Mile.
So he's a Stephen King fan, or at the very least, he's good at translating that to film.
Right. And David Koepp is literally one of the most successful ever. He did Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, War of the Worlds, Spider-Man 2002 one. So many other movies that are listed on here. Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit. I haven't watched that, I'll be honest. Yeah. He also did The Lost World, the second Jurassic Park. So
if you're out there and you like Jack Ryan...
So this movie should have been better than what it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're out there, it could have been. You're right. Okay, that's fair. But if you're out there and you like Jack Ryan, real quick, I wanted to say that's all well and fine. I've never seen it. I just saw it pop up, and it seemed to me like a discount Jason Bourne kind of thing.
Hey, Tom Clancy might have done it first, I think.
Who knows? Sure. Who knows? But I
think that and Robert Ludlum's Jason Bourne, they might have come out. I don't know, actually. They might have both been in the 90s. No, Tom Clancy would have been way back. He would have been the 80s, I think, when he did Jack Ryan. So,
I don't know.
So Jason Bourne is a discount
Jack Ryan, maybe. Well, maybe. But in the world of cinema, I don't really know when they first adapted Jack Ryan, if it's been around for a while.
Well, he would have been
I feel like The Hunt for Red October is Jack Ryan.
It is?
I think so.
Well, whatever. I don't care.
I think Alec Baldwin
We're pretending like we don't know what we're talking about. We do, okay? We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin was Jack Ryan.
All right, Greedy knows what they're talking about. So, anyhow, that was actually a good movie. Anyhow.
Yeah, we'll do that someday. Someday we'll have to do The Hunt for Red October.
Oh, well. Anyhow, this movie stars Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. Guess what? Yeah, he's still there. And he's apparently got one more in him.
Yep, 64 in this one.
And this is in the 50s. And it is after Harrison has been a spy and soldier during World War II. And now...
pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. But now he's, mostly teaching. And he gets kidnapped along with George McHale, who is played by Ray Winston. And has been Indiana's friend since the war, apparently.
We recently talked Ray Winston in Black Widow when he had the awful Russian accent as the villain.
Oh!
we complained about it nonstop. Yeah. It was just like, why did you make this man do this?
This is a much better role for him.
Much better. Much better role. That is one plus I will give this movie. The acting is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Everybody does a pretty good job acting. The script is not.
Yeah, there's a lot of convenience in the script, to say straight off.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Convenience in the dialogue is so stupid. Like,
yeah, sometimes.
The whole movie is an homage to sci-fi B movies of like the 50s. Right. So it's just like... it was kind of like a love letter from, I think, George Lucas, like, wanted it to be that way. I don't think Steven Spielberg wanted it to be that way, but he finally gave in. But, like, George wanted it to do other genres. Like, he didn't want it to just be an action film. He wanted it to be, like, a sci-fi action film.
Uh-huh. Well, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
So, apparently...
It feels like a B movie.
Apparently, they never, like, flat out say it, but they say... Nevada and the date, but apparently Harrison Ford was brought in to examine part of the wreckage from that incident, from the Roswell incident, and the Russians have kidnapped the main Russian being Cate Blanchett's character, Colonel Dr. Irina Spalko. And, I really like this character, but I don't think as a kid I recognized it as Cate Blanchett at all.
No, like, Cate Blanchett is such an amazing actor, and, like, she does a fine job here, honestly, she does. But it's just like, why do you cast an Australian to play a Russian? Why do we always do this?
That's fair, she did do a good job. I liked her accent.
She did a good job, but I feel like as a villain, she's kind of forgettable, honestly. Like, I think she does a good job, but looking at the whole of
arc
Indiana
of
Jones,
villains,
it's kind of just like,
it's better than the villains in the second movie.
I would agree with that. Yeah, a little better than him.
Yeah.
But no, not the first and the first and third. Still, you got the Nazis and you got
the Nazis.
That crazy other Nazi. Yeah, both Nazis. They're just good.
Anyhow, so they got these two archaeologist spy guys because they know that they've been involved with Roswell, right? And he reveals that whatever's in the box, because Indiana doesn't actually know, but whatever's in the box was highly magnetic. So he starts throwing gunpowder everywhere, and they follow it, and that's kind of a fun opening scene.
Yeah,
and
that's nice.
The Russians get the body of the alien, which is what they were after, and they fight their way out of, I guess, Area 51. I'm not sure.
Right, kind of.
And at the end of that, we are revealed that Mac is actually a double agent. That's a big plot point.
Yeah.
So
he's a sellsword.
Yes.
Whoever's giving him the most money, he'll go for them. Money.
And also, just ideology-wise, communism, for us, it seems like it's just a different flavor of fascism. But ideological-wise, they are very different. So I could see Mac being like, no, fuck these fascists. And then, well, he's a capitalist. He's not a communist.
He's a capitalist,
Yeah.
He even says it too. He's like, capitalism. Sorry.
So anyhow, when Indiana Jones gets back, survives a nuclear bomb in a refrigerator somehow.
Yeah. Actually, we gotta talk about that too. That's like. So there's the phrase "jumping the shark," right? So that's when that's what the Fonz did in Happy Days. He jumped the shark, and that's when this show's gone beyond its limits. It should no longer exist. It needs to stop.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the moment in the theaters when I was watching this movie, because it's like I really wanted to love this. I love the Indiana Jones original trilogy, and so I was really excited for a fourth one. And I'm sitting in the theaters, and that happens, and he's at the what do they call that again? Project Zero or whatever you want to.
I don't know, but it was
the Doomsday City.
Yeah, it's a testing city though. They put up mannequins in a way that is like hyper realistic. Yeah, and they decorate the homes. Like, how much money had to go in just decor for that bullshit?
And the weird thing is, I've seen that in so many different like movies and shows, so it's like it had to have actually been the case. And, like, I guess we'll find out with Oppenheimer when I watch that. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Like, it's just so weird that they set up all these weird ass mannequins, and Harrison Ford's wandering around just like, what the hell? He's like, oh god, and he realizes where he's at, which is they're about to blow up a nuke, and he gets into a fridge, gets blown miles away.
Yeah.
He is dead.
He's dead.
Like, I don't care.
Even if the lead-lined refrigerator... Even if the lead-lined refrigerator protected him from the radioactive blast, the journey, like that fucking landing, he broke his spine and his legs 10 ways to Sunday. Yeah.
Everything.
Real
then
bad.
He gets out of the fridge. He gets out after he lands. I mean, he's a little like shooken up. He's like, whoa, whatever. But then he stands up and he's like, just a couple miles away from a mushroom cloud going up in the sky. Yeah. He's got radiation poisoning.
He does, real bad.
He's dead.
Real bad.
He's dead.
Now, I don't...
The movie jumped the shark.
Yeah, it did.
In that moment, it was like, no.
And
that 64-year-old did not survive this.
And before that, they already put aliens in the movie. Now, not to say that that's really too much of a stretch for this franchise, because there has been religious magic in all three of the other movies. So
I'm willing to believe the aliens. That was another thing. I think Harrison Ford was very against the aliens because they wanted to make this movie in the 90s. But it took them a very long time to get here, and a lot of different screenwriters and everything. Like Frank Darabont was originally writing, and then they're just like, nope, bye, and then got another guy, and it's like, nope, bye, and then finally settled with David Koepp. But the aliens, I'm willing to accept. I was just like, I don't care. That makes sense. It's in the 50s.
Sure.
That's a good idea. You got this good conspiracy MacGuffin kind of thing, like E.T. Like, hell yeah, that's all right. And Steven Spielberg, he's done aliens before. He can respectfully handle this material. I'm willing to accept aliens in the Indiana Jones franchise. Mm-hmm. The nuclear blast. No, not at all.
Yeah, I know. It's
so
just
stupid.
like Dr. No when we talked about Dr. No. Like, James Bond didn't make it to another fucking mission. He just didn't.
Nope. Nope. It was a new Sean Connery that came back after that one.
Oh, God. Okay, so... Yeah, he comes back. I keep on trying to get to this part. And when he comes back, everything about his missions and all the medals he won during the war comes into question by the FBI because he was involved with Mac McHale. And so And it's also the age of McCarthyisms. Yes, that's right. Yeah. He, from the FBI's perspective, he helped them break into Area 51 and steal this.
Yeah, even though he was under threat of death, that doesn't matter to them.
Right, that doesn't matter to them. Because McCarthyism was, terrible. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, it was just an era in our history where everybody was under suspect. You could just say an opinion and get swooped up and disappeared. It was a very scary time in the States for everyone. Not to say that it's not for half of our population every single day, but it was a particularly scary time. So eventually that leads to him getting pushed out of his teaching position. And along with him,
by Jim Broadbent.
Yes, by Jim Broadbent. That's what I was just about to bring up. Jim Broadbent plays Dean Charles Stanforth, a new character in the series, but somebody who's worked with Indiana for a long time. In fact,
he's kind of replacing the guy of the last one, the Marcus guy.
Yeah, Marcus was actually in the first one too. But Marcus, that's right, we do find out that both Marcus and Henry Sr., or rather Henry the First, has passed away in the most recent years. Now, I do think that Sean Connery was just retired at this point. I don't think he had...
Yeah, I think he turned down. I think he was offered, and he said no, not unless the character's going to be prominent. And they were just like, we don't really have time to make somebody, another prominent character for the script.
Right.
It's the same thing with John Rhys Davies. They asked him to come back too, but it was just for like a one scene thing, and he said no.
I bet Sulla
not unless they have a big role.
Yeah, I bet Sulla would honestly not play as well to the 2008 audience as it did in the 80s. Yeah.
It's probably the better decision to just be like, nah, I'm all right. But they do have another character who returns, but that's for later.
So, he gets kicked out of his job, and he's about to, skip town, I guess, for some reason. And then all of a sudden, Mutt Williams shows up. And, I did wanted to say that Charles resigned. Jim Broadbent's character resigned because of what they were doing to Indy. And that was nice. But Mutt Williams, played by Shia LaBeouf, shows up on his motorcycle. He's a greaser. And he's dropped out of school. And Indy says, well, it's not for everybody. And apparently Mutt is friends with Professor Oxley, played by John Hurt.
Doctor Who.
Yep, we all know. And so Professor Oxley kind of helped raise Mutt because his mother was a single mother.
His name is
after
Mutt.
A certain time. Yeah, his name is Mutt. It's a name that he chose. Just like...
I was making a premise joke.
Oh, yeah?
The premise song, his name is Mud, M-U-D.
Oh, gotcha.
His name is Mutt.
So...
For all my premise homies out there.
Yeah, they're all big fans of the show, I'm sure. So, we find out through a long series of events that Mutt is the son of Marion Ravenwood from the first movie. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Karen Allen is in this movie. And, they go for the search for Ox in Mesoamerica, looking for El Dorado, essentially. They used a different name for it. But, basically, they went along with the ancient alien thing, which was really hot at the time. I will say that. Ancient Aliens
2008, baby.
So they went with the ancient alien thing, that they were the reason why the Aztecs, not the Aztecs, but the Olmec or whatever, were so knowledgeable.
Advanced.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe the Mayans. I don't remember.
Seems a little seems a little wrong. It's a good story still. It's the same thing with ancient Egypt and aliens. Like,
right?
It's
but it's
an interesting story.
It's like people.
Yeah, it also erases a lot of slavery and issues, and a lot of the stuff that was built on the backs of others. Sure. And to say that aliens just gave it to him is kind of just to ignore all of that.
Yeah, it's ignoring all. Yeah, but it's also I think what the worst part of it is that you're ignoring those cultures' ability to, be intuitive and
advanced,
great engineers. Yeah. It's a very much a white European lens of looking at it. It's no, they couldn't have done this. They weren't advanced enough. You have no idea. You weren't fucking there.
Aliens.
It had to be aliens.
It had to be aliens. The easiest answer is always the solution. What, Occam's razor? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it is. That's right. So what else do we talk about? Okay, when they get there, when they finally find Ox, the Russians have him. So the Russians were just following the whole time. And once they get close, they reveal themselves for some reason. Action. Solving puzzles.
The puzzles are so silly. I don't care about any of the puzzles. None of them were enticing.
I liked the sand obelisk one. That was kind of cool. But a lot of these things felt like they were designing it to become an amusement park ride.
Yeah, right? Yeah, a little bit. It felt very Temple of Doomy almost.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. My whole problem with this movie is it has decent acting. Everybody in it is trying. But the sad thing is, I even forgot Shia LaBeouf is in it. That's the hugest joke about this movie was I got 30 minutes in and Shia LaBeouf showed up and I was like, Shia LaBeouf, and I was like, oh right, yeah, he is. Yeah, that's right, he is Indy's son. I forgot.
Okay. Personal and professional problems aside. I always thought Shia LaBeouf was very talented. And, this is not a bad role for Shia LaBeouf either. But
it's just, for as important as his character's supposed to be, it's very forgettable for me.
Yeah, I can get that.
If I think Shia LaBeouf, I'm thinking, even though this is also a joke, but I'm thinking, iRobot and Holes. I mean, Holes is not a joke. Holes
that's a fucking great movie, yeah.
Yeah.
But his role in iRobot is very strange. It's very small. That was supposed to be his breakout into more adult cinema, right?
After what was it, Even Stevens or whatever he was.
Well, Even Stevens, but Even Stevens was the show, but I'm pretty sure Holes was either during it or after Even Stevens, but that iRobot I think was the first one that was not specifically geared towards family or children.
He does a greaser from a 50s B horror or sci-fi film really well.
Right,
he really does.
And I think that he does it right, but he also, I feel there's another layer to the performance where Mutt he's doing it to have a group to fit in with. I feel there's actually a lot of character work that Shia put into this character, and it's just too bad that the movie isn't so great.
It just builds so weird. So the whole relationship with Indy and Marion doesn't feel right to me at all. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with them having had a relationship. I'm okay with them connecting again in this movie, but the way they just immediately fall into each other's arms is just it was so weirdly I get it. I know they already had a relationship, so it's not that that trope we hate at all, but it feels like that trope.
But Indy only had to say one line. And then she wasn't mad anymore. And I did think it was very funny though, because Carrie Allen's face was so cute when he said that. I didn't know what I can't remember what he said. She asked him if there was ever anybody else, and he said, yeah, sure, there's several people got pretty close to the altar a couple times. She's like, why didn't it happen? He's like, well, none of them were you.
and then she had that big stupid smile, and it was
a good line. He did.
But it also is just this. It was a snap back into the relationship kind of thing.
Yeah, and like the weird like PDAs around Mutt, and Shia LaBeouf's just like, what the fuck? Hey, stop it now! Pops up in between them as they're about to kiss. Yeah. Like, it was very comical and goofy, and like I don't know.
All that
there's
could have
things about this movie that are it could have. It really could have.
The ending, I think, was just so strange. And that's, like, Indiana Jones movie endings are always strange. But it was just such a step beyond that. And I think it was like, hey, we can do so much more with effects now. Why not?
Really, and honestly, that was another problem. The effects don't look that good.
No,
like,
not
they're
really.
All right.
They're okay, yeah. Like the practical effects, like the skulls, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, the stunt work was good too, because like most of the stunts I could see being real. Them fighting, sword fighting across, two Jeeps that are driving. Yeah, that kind of feels real with maybe wire work and everything. But like,
oh my god, when they crash that Jeep though, like right after Marion says, "I don't think he thinks that far ahead," they crash like. The Jeep chicken-like into a Jeep that Mac is riding along with, and he's like, you don't know him, you don't know him, you don't know him, just over and over again. And then they hit head on, and then continuity error. The next shot, Mac is standing next to some people. I'm like, what the fuck? That's so weird. I thought that too. Like, there should have been a scene showing him, like, getting pulled out of the vehicle or something.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, because I was just like, didn't he just like die?
So weird.
No, it has issues, but like my biggest issue with the entire movie, if I'm going to lead into my closing statement, is that it's just boring. Like, it doesn't have that exciting Indiana Jones feel. The music from John Williams, great. He's always great. Yeah. He's fucking John Williams. Like, that stuff's good, but like, I don't know, like, a lot of it just didn't feel believable. And no offense to people who are 60. I know there's some very active 64-year-old people out there. Harrison Ford is obviously one of them. Included, when he was 64. Like, now he's 80 and he's about to be in the fifth one. We'll see how that is. But, like, even as a 64-year-old, there's some stuff that happens in this that I'm just like, nah, I'm sorry. I don't believe it happening. I don't believe him surviving a fucking refrigerator being blown miles away by a fucking nuke.
No.
He's dead.
I'm
sorry.
My dad is 60, and he is a fit man. And he would not. No. I mean, of course, he did just have back surgery, but that's the thing.
Right.
Indiana Jones has been doing crazy shit his whole entire life. He has bad joints. He has.
Yeah, definitely. He's got arthritis in his whipping hand.
Of course he does.
No, it's gone with this movie. It just became beyond the point of belief. And, like, again, I'm willing to believe in the religious magic of this universe. I'm willing to believe in the aliens. I don't fucking care. I'm willing to believe in these MacGuffins.
Right.
And their ability to deliver insane, beautiful things. Or terrible things, even.
Right.
I'm not willing to believe that a 64-year-old man can get through this action film.
Not everything that happens in it.
No. Not everything that happens, no. But on rewatch, even though it was boring, even though I still had these issues where I'm like, it's just not believable whatsoever, I did respect it more because I understood they were trying to make a B sci-fi horror film. Right. I understood that more. I understood where their love was going for the filmmaking. And so I give it 2.5 stars because, I've hated on this film a lot. Mm-hmm. It's honestly not as bad as I give it credit for. It's still watchable. It can be enjoyable, I guess. But for me, it was not.
So I will say that upon my first watch ever, 2008, very young human.
So young.
I honestly enjoyed it. But upon watching it more critically, I was like, oh yeah, this is a very bad Indiana Jones movie. Now, as an adult,
I'm under the same opinion as you are. It's very passable as a movie. It's got its problems. I think one thing that's kind of unfortunate is that 19 years from the last movie did not help it be less problematic than those earlier films. In fact, I think The Last Crusade might be less problematic than this movie.
It might, it really is like the most PC of them all.
Yeah. So I do give it a full face, though. I think it's if somebody's going to go watch the Indiana Jones movies, I don't think there's a reason not to watch this one. Like, that's kind of how I felt about it before coming in. I mean, we made the joke over and over again. But I recommend it enough, to finish out the 4 that have already happened. It's not the worst. Yeah. It's not.
Only because I have OCD.
It's not the worst of the 4 for me. I'm gonna say that. So
really,
yeah, I think Temple of Doom is not very good. Yeah,
poor thing. It tries so hard.
All right.
For me, Temple of Doom is just like 2 steps above the ladder.
I got you.
In this one, but both of them are very far down the ladder. Just because of nostalgia, honestly. And also because of Ke Huy Quan. I just fucking love Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah, I know. He is the biggest redeeming part of it, and that's why it's only 1 rung below this movie.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right.
I appreciate that.
I think we did the movie.
Well,
the podcast.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love you, potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh. That's with an X.
And I am the Faceless Leon, the stretchiest experiment on Earth. Don't scratch your eyes out. Safe travels, and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.